to be done, and I'm taking this off of what you yourself have said, Weshimua, this morning, just giving the example of schools. So I'm hard-pressed to understand where we can possibly find the time to be discussing these, which in my mind are mundane politics, when there's so much work to do. Or are we saying that it is absolutely necessary to have these political discussions when there's so much to do?
This political discussion is very important because the allocation of resources is a political process. Remember, in Ernst Morgenthau's book, Politics Among Nations of 1979, defined politics as allocation of resources authoritatively. For those who have done political science or international studies, would definitely have come across the book Politics Among Nations.
Of Nations.
So politics is nothing else other than allocation of resources. And these resources are not only allocated, but allocated authoritatively, without asking questions. You can't ask questions why this road has been tarmac and not the other. It's a political process. So if you have a political environment which is not favorable to allocation of resources, then you have to create a favorable political environment to ensure resources are allocated. And as far as we are concerned, we are almost missing that favorable political environment for resources allocations. And if the people of Mbeere will not be allocated their due resources because of unfavorable political environment, who is to blame? I've been blamed by the people of Mbeere North in a serious way. So I have to participate in that process, which will ensure indeed there is a favorable political environment to the people of Mbeere for their resources to reach them.
Was there a favorable political environment in June last year?
This has been snowballing, going downhill gradually. And I think now it's not further tenable for things to move the way they are.
How has it affected
some actions
you in your work as an MP? How has it affected the work of Parliament that the Deputy President, like you said, calls it a shareholder government, or whatever he says, his rhetoric in public? How has the Deputy President's public rhetoric affected the work of Parliament?
Today, Wandai is not a member of Parliament. He's a cabinet executive. We have an empty seat in people of Wandai's constituents. What's the name?
Ugenya.
I don't know.
Ugunja. Yeah.
At the moment, they don't have a member of Parliament. Correct?
This is because?
This is because of political environment of the Republic of Kenya. Today,
is it because of the DP?
Today, all these matters are culminating to all those kind of things. We have seen...
it is because of the DP that...
I'm not saying it's because
we have a broad-based government.
I'm talking about political environment.
Okay.
Political environment as external and internal. For those who have also done strategic management, anybody who have sat in a class of strategy will know the issues on environment, when you talk about the business environment, is both external and internal. When I'm talking about political environment, is both external environment, not within Parliament, and also internal within Parliament. So today we have a half of cabinet which went home. Today we have ODM ministers. We have Joe as a minister, we have Oparanya as a minister, we have Mbandi and Pio as ministers. How did it happen? How did we get there?
I'm
how
failing to
did
connect.
Kenya Kwanza administration.
I'm failing to connect the incompetence of the executive, because that's what you're saying.
No. What's happening is
Whatever has happened in the executive, that it has become so muddled in its own issues. How has it affected the institution of the legislature?
What happened?
Because all those things are happening at the executive.
What happened is, as the President of the Republic of Kenya felt the need to bring in other partners in his government, because there is someone who is threatening him on a day-to-day basis that is going to carry a region away from government.
Ruku, that is the executive, right?
And the executive...
The executive arm of government,
the executive,
is having its own implosion. If the executive arm of government is imploding, how does that affect the job of... How is it impacting the legislature? Are you saying that the legislature has been unable, for example, to pass laws because the executive is imploding? Or are you saying that the legislature has been unable to oversight the executive because the executive is imploding?
Within the legislature, there is a leader of government business. Why do we have a leader of government business?
He's a leader of majority.
Why do we have a leader of government business in Parliament?
He's a leader.
He's
a leader of majority.
It is because government is formed by the majority.
Not always.
Listen, there are three.
Not always, Mheshimiwa.
Okay, let me explain my point.
If the hanky-panky had not happened in September 2022, the majority would be Azimio.
Let me explain my point. We have three arms of government, which are independent and interdependent. They have to work in tandem. The executive has its own bills in Parliament, which are brought by the leader majority, and which move even faster than private members' bills, which are fast-tracked. So you cannot de-link the legislature from the executive. Because the ministers, we have seen ministers coming to Parliament now and again to answer questions, to reply to different concern of different constituencies in the Republic. Why do we have ministers coming to Parliament and they are not part of Parliament? It's because they have to continue working together. So the thing is, if the executive is not creating an empowering environment for a legislature to work, then some issues have to be done.
Okay, so here's my point, and in the form of a question and a point at the same time.
Yep.
You have an executive arm of government that is headed by the head of government, his deputy, the cabinet, and then the others follow. You've got Parliament that has its own leadership structure.
Yes.
From the Speaker, leaders of majority, minority, and the others that lead the business of Parliament. And you have the judiciary that is headed by the Chief Justice. Okay? Now, these are three arms of government. Your job is to oversight the others and to represent the people and to create laws and ensure that the laws are implemented properly. Okay? Now, if the executive arm of government is, I want to use those words again, imploding, why are you becoming a doctor and going there to the executive to find out what the problem is and let's try and solve the problem in the executive, and we have identified that the problem is not the head, it is the shoulder. Let's remove the shoulder.
neck.
Why are you dealing with the problems of the executive? Your job is to oversight it. If the executive is not functioning, you go to the people and say, this executive is not functioning. You don't come and tell us the knee of the executive is not moving. Make sure the thing moves.
Let me tell you, Latif, the budgetary process and local politics go hand in hand.
Okay.
The budgetary process or the resources allocation process. And I told you, politics is defined as allocation of resources authoritatively. They go hand in hand with the local politics.
Okay.
So the point is we are not going to fail the people who elected us because the executive has decided they can't work in a certain environment. We have to come up with ways of ensuring there is conducive environment for the people of Kenya so that resources can be allocated and people can be able to get what they need. Why should, as a member of parliament, why should I sit and see executive allocating resources to cost people because now cost people are in government and my people of Mbeere get nothing? Why should I sit and wait for that to happen?
So are you going to impeach the cost CS?
Not impeaching the cost CS.
That's my point.
Is creating a political environment.
Your job in
Parliament is creating a political environment which suits the resources for my people to get those resources.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, if you could...
I don't know why you can't
help,
get these relative.
Maybe you can help me connect the dots here, and maybe it could make a little bit more sense. Here we are looking at a situation whereby the public, from at least the political angle, has been that for whatever reason the deputy president has to go. There it is. It's clear out. I mean, look at what the headlines are saying. That's obvious. But you're also saying that in as much as it shouldn't concern members of parliament because you have work to do, the allocation of resources is very important for this kind of work to continue. Are we, however, seeing that this particular implosion in the presidency has something directly to do with the allocation of resources to build a school in Mbeere North, for example, or to build one in somewhere in the middle of Kilifi? Is there a direct relation between what is happening with the deputy president and the allocation of resources where people, members of parliament, will or will not give their signature?
I think by the mid next week, why the impeachment? That question will be answered. Probably you call me end of next week to come and answer clearly why the impeachment. We are not yet there. If there is impeachment, as this entrance says, and as I'm getting to hear along the corridors of Parliament, then there will be substantive
grounds for it.
And we will come here and discuss those substantive grounds. But for now, what I'm saying, Rativ, is politics is defined as allocation of resources authoritatively. I don't understand up to now why I represent a constituency where there is no water connectivity in our household, why electricity is not connected, and we have even dams.
It's not so far from where
it is generated.
The country's electricity is generated.
Yes. Why we have 40 kilometers of road tarmac in a constituency which is 771 square kilometers. So as I interrogate those questions, as I try to tell the necessary or the appropriate departmental committees and the ministries and the president that this is the situation of my people, I have to ensure I have favorable political environment, conducive environment.
I actually agree with you, Mheshimiwa. I think there's a lot of work that should be done. I think there's a lot of work that's pending that ought to be done. And I think there's a lot of nonchalance when it comes to having that work actually done. Beyond that, I actually think that a lot of the attention that's being paid to, this politics can actually be diverted to something else. And that if from the very beginning, those who have the power to make the law, they also deal with the approval for the allocation of these resources, whether you're on the right political side or not. that I think that too much energy is being put into things that don't matter. Because the truth of the matter is, let's say today that the deputy president is impeached. Let's say he's impeached. Will that automatically lead to that school that you're talking about in Mbeere North being constructed?
Indu.
Yes. With it?
We have seen what the unity of nation of the country, it is extremely important. Without unity of the country, even the businesses we are talking about, even the building we are seeing in this city, all of them will come to nothing. First and foremost, even without roads in my constituency, without water in my constituency, this nation has to hold together as a nation, as a country. And if there is any element which is threatening that the nation cannot hold, the state cannot hold as a state, then it must be dealt with. Latif, when we had these issues, we saw executive or cabinet, half of it went home. Security was reorganized.
Yes.
Even military was reorganized.
Yes.
Probably it's high time also to reorganize presidency.
Oh.
To what? Oh my, okay.
Probably it's high time to reorganize presidency.
Okay.
For the unity
Of the country.
of the not even
Of the state.
Of the state. Because government can go, state will remain. Government will come and go, but state will remain.
There are actually people who agree with you.
So,
And they've said impeach them both.
They came together, they go together.
Let's reorganize the presidency. The same way the cabinet was all of them sent home. Send these two both home. Let them seek a fresh mandate. Among other people.
It is an option. It is an option. It's a political option. Let it be tabled for consideration.
However, are you telling me that when you go back to Mbeere tomorrow and you meet that woman who's carrying mutungis of water, and on the other hand, she's carrying a kibuyu of paraffin, and she's walking on a very dusty road, you'll tell her that, you know what, the reason we are still like this 60 years after independence, right? So many years after you were born and brought up in Mbeere and now you are representing them, it's still the same way. It's because Ukoju, the presidency, has issues.
First of all, Rajiv, I want to thank all those who represented the people of Mbeere in the past for their service. They represented the people of Mbeere in different political environment, different presidencies. There are those who are representing the people of Mbeere during Jomo Kenyatta. There are those who are representing during Moi. They were experiencing different circumstances then, even during Mwai Kibaki, even during Uhuru Kenyatta. They were experiencing different circumstances with the one which we have at the moment.
Yes.
I have only served for 2 years as a member of parliament for Mbeere North.
And your circumstances regarding
my circumstances are completely different with those who are serving in the previous administrations. What I'm saying to them is that thank you for your service. You did what you could have been able to do.
Those are them.
At that particular time.
This woman that you meet on the
Now,
road.
for me, I have 2 years which I have served as a member of parliament. I have my realities which I have seen and how resources are allocated. You know, how the system is. Some people may want to say the system is rigged. Some people, as they say in the United States of America, you hear Trump saying again and again, the system is rigged, the system is corrupt, the system is this and that. Also in this nation, we have a system which is there in place. And probably for you to change the system, you may take more than probably 30 years. Relative to build a president, to build someone who can be a president of the Republic of Kenya, it will not take less than 20 years. It's a 20-year
That woman
term.
in Mbeere.
Coming to your answer. I'm coming to answer your question.
It's 40 seconds to the top of the hour.
You know, it will take almost 20 years to build someone who can be a president. The person who is in Mbeere, she has been taken for granted for 90 years, for 60 years. Why? We are armed as Mount Kenya people. When we have Keno Marwa Road, the executive knows
Mount Kenya is
Mount
sorted.
Kenya is sorted. When we have Keno Moranga Road, Mount Kenya is sorted. When we have Karimeno Dam in Kiambu, Mount Kenya is sorted. When we have Dhipan Dam in Kirinyaga, Mount Kenya is sorted. So I need to raise my voice and say, gentlemen, please.
Mbeere is not Mount Kenya.
Mbeere is not sorted. When we have Dhipa, we need Kamumo Dam for us to be sorted.
We've exhausted the hour. Thank you for joining us today. We'll invite you again.
No.
Imagine.
It flies like that. The Honorable Geoffrey Ruku is the Member of Parliament from Mbeere North.